But today we got another special guest. We got a lot of Brooklynites coming in. You know, a lot of Bed-Stuy coming in, right? And this special guest, I really respect them because we're both young. We both in the same generation. We both doing it. We both trying to just add to the culture and change our culture's mindset. So we here with Mr. Jordan, Mr. J.O., right? Mr. Syracuse. Right? So we outside, right? So we gonna talk. Right?
Yeah, I appreciate it for bringing me up here. So my name's Jordan. I go to Syracuse University. People from back home, they know me as J.O. I attend Syracuse, major in broadcast journalism. I have my own podcast called Off the Wake of Michael Pierre, where I had Aaliyah come on as well. And I have my own clothing brand that just encourage us to use our platform to amplify the voices I heard.
Yeah, like it's a lot. So I see you doing a lot, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what exactly is it that you do, and what's your goal?
Yeah. So people always ask you like, what's your your mission as a person? You know how all companies have a mission statement. Like, what's your mission statement? And I couldn't never really define what it was, but I told myself like, no matter what space I'm always be an advocate for equality for people, like making sure everybody voices heard. So that's what my brand is big on. It's called Michael Pierre, but the idea behind it is encouraging people to utilize our platforms to amplify the voice I heard. So like you bring me up here, it's helping to assist me in having my voice heard, and me bring you on is the same thing. So I do everything really is centered around that idea. Even when it comes to public speaking, addressing certain things that go on. We born in a community or raised in a community where we was taught to like address issues in a certain manner, right? But everybody go about it differently, and everybody positionality in that fight or pushing the envelope for equality is different. Mine is speaking. I'm good at like public speaking. Some people may be good at writing. You know, you're talking about like your cousin being a screenwriter. That's what he's great at. He could write a good show that would still depict the story of what we experienced. Mine is like public speaking and writing speeches. So that's yours. You even creating a platform where you can speak and bring on guests. So yours may just be networking and bringing people together. So everybody utilizing their talents. And the goal, I want to be like, I do want to be the president of the United States.
I like that. My friend want to be the president too.
I did want to be the president of the United States. Word. He's going to be out there arguing like it. That's the president right now? Yeah, I'm going to argue with him. I'm going to say, you got kicked off in college now. But boom. And I also want to be like Trevor Noah. I like how he utilizes his platform to speak about politics, but in a way in which we understand. So, because they use a lot of diction in certain ways of vernacular in order to explain things that can be explained in certain ways so we can understand it. But that's intentional. Yeah. So that's the goal.
So what's your how did you sit down to yourself and say, I want to be the president of the United States? Like a kid from Bed-Stuy.
Want to be
right? How many people thinking like they want to be the president of the United States?
You know, it's crazy. That's why I give Barack Obama kudos to. I think prior to that, I always say like it's hard to dream to become something that you never seen, right? So if we never seen a black person occupy a certain space, it's hard for us to see ourselves in that position because we never seen a reflection of ourselves there. So like Barack Obama being the president, I think that's where it started. When I first saw that as possible. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, you could become the president. Yeah. Because at first I wanted to become a judge. But then I seen Barack Obama do it. Now I know it's possible. So I was like, I want to become the president. And the thing about it, we spoke about it last time, is that when you put your dreams or you say things out loud, people will hold you accountable. Yeah. So like if I go back home, they be like, yo, Joe, what you want to be? He gonna be the next president. He gonna be the next president. So now they like manifesting it for you. Yeah. Even yesterday we had a cookout in a park, and my uncle, they drinking or whatever, and they drink, they start getting emotional. He like, yo, sit down, nephew, sit down. He like, what you want to be? I was like, I want to be the president. He said, no, what you want to be, right? And then when you start saying it to yourself, it's like you starting to believe it. Yeah. And you told me you read the book The Alchemist, right? And you know how like the almonds and how they say when you believe in something, the world conspires to make it happen. Yeah. So that's what happened. So.
Like that.
Yeah, that's how it's been.
You know, it's crazy because that person that I was just looking at, that was my uncle who just spoke. Oh. He that uncle.
I got an uncle just like that.
Yeah, he that uncle.
That's that uncle.
Like, yo, Aaliyah, we gonna make noise together. So you know it's crazy.
Telling everybody we walking. This my niece. Yeah. What you want to be? She can be the next billionaire. Yeah. And now you got to believe it because they believe in it.
Exactly.
And now they holding you accountable for it. So.
And you know the question that I get a lot, and even you asked me this yesterday, and somebody Carl was asking me, like, what motivates me? And honestly, it's just like you said, like, people believe in it, so why shouldn't I? Like,
right.
People believe that I'm going to become a billionaire, so, like, I got to do that for the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people believe you're going to be the president. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Because people invest their time, their energy, their thoughts, their belief into you, so you got to go make it happen. So, now, what is some things some issues, in our community that you see that that are prominent to you, and you're like,
yeah. So one, I think I want to address really poverty because I was abroad, right? I went to London and then in Italy, through Syracuse University. I was studying abroad.
That was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that was a great experience. Yeah. A lot of things is different, like in London, the officers don't have guns. In Italy, they less of consumerism. They try to maximize space. Like in this space we in, it could be like they put like 13 rooms in here. You wouldn't believe how they really maximize space, right? But one thing that I didn't. Oh, and then in London, race relations was different, right? You saw a lot of people of different ethnicities partying together. Often you don't see that in the hood. You got like black bars, black clubs, a black location, and you got some white places, But there, it wasn't really no place I could say like, yo, where the black people at? They like go here and then everybody there. You like go to Shortage. Everybody in Shortage. It wasn't just old black people. You know what I mean? But the one thing I've seen that didn't change was classism. Like everywhere you go, you always see poverty that exists in all forms. And I think that's what I want to address. And even us, like one of the things that motivate me, and I will assume motivate you too, is coming from a place where you've seen certain people have a financial crisis or be in a position where we couldn't afford to do certain things. Because I never think that we have the knowledge and we are able to do it. We just don't have the access to the same resources. So I think it's addressing poverty is one of the biggest ones. I took a Politics of Africa course, and another thing I know is that we don't talk about is like transnational, the oppression of black people transnationally. So one is like addressing genocide that happens in Africa. Because Africa is it's like one of the only continents that can support itself without any exports. So they don't need to gain any exports or imports from other countries or continents besides themselves to be sufficient. So I think addressing genocide is a conversation we don't have, and we dehumanize people.
So what's genocide? Genocide is
the mass killing of a large population of people. So there's different ways in which it occurred. The famous ones like Holocaust, right?
Yeah, the
Holocaust, with the Jews, and they say like the Holocaust, but black people have been killed on a mass scale. Slavery is a genocide, but they just don't word it that way. So I think addressing genocide, and then I think just amplifying voices and building access. So like even this space, if we built like a program that allowed people to create their own podcast, teach them how to program, creating like incubators and places where we can learn and just educate. Because we have great ideas. I know a lot of people from the hood that scam, that's drug dealers, but they have great ideas. Just we had limited access or limited education or other avenues to curate those spaces. So we went down certain avenues.
Yeah, that's a fact. I always try to think to myself, like, what separated me from certain people? Like the same people I see scamming, the same people I see who either died or, in jail right now for murder or all types of different things. The same people that I either knew, I went to school with, or we had some type of relation together. Right. And it's just like, how am I where I am and you are where you are? Right. What separated that? So how did you make sure that you didn't go, a certain route?
Yeah. So I got an older brother, Corey, right? He was more in the street than me. And when I was being raised in the same neighborhood in Brooklyn, I feel like also I had a stepfather in my life that was more disciplined, right? So there's a different structure in the household when he came in. And he kept me understanding to prioritize education and going to school. So I was limited on being outside at certain times of the night where like Smooth Bell, Lefty, and them was outside. I couldn't be outside at a certain night past like 9. Whenever the street lights come on or the sun go down, I need to be in the house before then. Yeah. Right? So certain things implement in the household. But then another thing we saw like people believing in you in a community sense. I think that a lot of people just saw that I could become something, so they held me accountable to it. So, and then my brother friends that was also in the street that knew I was his younger brother was like, nah, J.O. gonna be something. At first I was playing basketball only. But then I became more, or showing more about my educational purposes, right? And then, so when like a shootout about to occur, they about to start shooting, they like, yo, J.O., go upstairs. And now I go upstairs before it occurred. So they was like looking out for me. And I think that what we losing as a generation is the sense that it still takes a community to raise a child, right? Like I wouldn't be where I'm at today if the community ain't look out for me. So like yesterday it was a cookout yesterday in 44. We don't go to 44 as much, there's a lot of shootings. But everybody was there and they was like, yo, J.O., I ain't gonna lie, you really inspiring like for many of us. And when they were saying that to me, I was like, nah, but I thank y'all for looking out for me growing up, because I wouldn't been able to be who I am today without y'all, because y'all looked out, made sure I wasn't even outside at nighttime, or if something's gonna go down, y'all made sure I was out. Right? They didn't do that for all the other young men outside, but they looked out for me. So I think that's what really differentiates, like first the household and the morals we get instilled in the household, but then it was like the community making that effort to look out for me too.
You know what's crazy? I actually have a story like that. So God rest his soul, right? But it was this man named D Block, right? D Block, right? And I used to go to PS11, right? So outside after school, I used to always go in the park and play. Right. And you know, when you see, like, at one time, I think, like, the gang members look cool. Like, they look like, oh, like, they look cool, they lit, right? Yeah. But then he used to tell me, he used to tell me, he like, yo, Aaliyah, you a good kid. I see, like, like, my mom used to be very involved in the school, so he used to always see my mom. My mom used to know him. Right. Like, my mom used to give him $5 to go, you know, get something real quick. And then he was just like, Aaliyah, like, how was school today? Like, he didn't look at me as like any gang member or like somebody who could come on the block and do something. It was more of generally like, yo, like, this is a good kid. And like you said, it's important when people see good in you and they're not trying to let you get into anything that's not for you.
They don't even allow you to tear your focus. And I think that's what it was, just the community looking out. So I wish the community was more like that. I don't know, we lose that as a sense of generation and more like individualism. The music we listen to encouraging more like killing one another, like this individual perspective. Like, we started looking out for each other, and then people believing in you can make you believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Jail, you gonna become something, bro. Just stay focused. Now I'm seeing it. You know what else also, now that we speak about, is like language.
You want to move the pillow?
No, you good. This makes me feel good. The other one is language, right? I remember I was exercising in the park, and somebody's like, yo, how you doing, King? Somebody was like, how you doing, Queen? Or how you doing, King? Yeah. And when they say it to you, it's like, oh, damn, I forgot I'm a king. Like, now you got to live up to the word. Yeah. You know, so words also impact. So I think just like the community played a big part.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? So I go to HBCU, right? So, like, going to that school, it kind of changed my way of thinking because it got me out of, like, I traveled a lot, but now, like, I'm in an area where I'm around black people and black excellence all the time, right? And that's the language. Like, it's like, what's up, King? What's up, Queen? There's no, like, people don't call you Aaliyah. They don't call you by your name. They call you King, Queen. Like,
that's how you feel. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, I was with one of my mentors here. I'm doing a screen probably showing on Instagram, but he was speaking to me, and I think we take a lot of things for granted and how we was raised. But he was saying, like, there's some people that wake up in the morning and don't like what they see in the mirror. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for us, I don't know. I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, we gonna have a good day. But some people look in the mirror and, like, they might not like what they see or their reflection. So it's like, when you reinforcing certain ideals, like, yo, how you doing, King? Just being on a positive note, you making people feel like, yo, I actually could be something. Because a lot of parents, you know, everybody don't have the parents that we was raised with. That's making us feel like, yo, nurturing for you. Some people have parents that really ain't kids. Like, I wish I didn't have you. So they never had that sense of nurture and love to make them feel like they could have been something more than what their parents did. And that's why I want to kudos you. You were saying that you're creating the next seminar or webinar that's going to speak to parents. Yeah. And I thought that was a great thing because what I was thinking when you was like, what else? Another vision I wanted to create some type of program that educate parents. Because if we just educating the children, but they go back home to their parents, that is limited in vision, that's going to hinder them. Because now you telling them, yo, you can become a billionaire, and they mom like, yo, you need to just get a good job. Like, just go work here. Yeah. While you encourage them on how to invest and become an entrepreneur, they go back home and their parents is limited in vision. Yeah, one thing I had to understand for a long time is just like how big of an impact that your parents and just your family play on you, right? Because those are people that you know first, and those are the people you kind of respect the most because, like, my mom birthed me, my parents had me, so, like, I'm gonna respect them. So if my mom my mom saying I look this way, I look that way, my dad talking back about me, my dad absent, my dad don't care about me, it's like, that plays a huge role in somebody's life. Even if somebody says, like, you know, I don't care about it, I grew out of it, it's just like, there's still some type of like pain and void there. And because I've never experienced that myself, I can't say that I understand, but I can see how, like, it had an impact and it can affect other people. Right. So now my approach is different when I'm talking to people on the street because they didn't have the resources that I had and they didn't have the things that I had. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I can't approach somebody and be like, you look beautiful. When their whole life they was told it was ugly by their parents. You know? So like, you fat, you this. And it's crazy. So that's why I said, like, even yesterday I'm walking in the street and I see this dad. And I have a thing for black fathers. Like, I love black fathers. Like, it's not. I like seeing black fathers.
It's like, I love when I see black fathers taking care of their children because for years you hear that, oh, black fathers are deadbeats and they don't do this. So when I see it, I like to acknowledge it and I like to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday I saw a father. He just looked like he was just having a bad day. He was angry with himself and he just yelling at the kid, telling the kid shut up. And I think, like, something like that, like, that's not how you talk to your kid. You know what I'm saying? Because they go back to school and they repeat those things, or they grow up angry and they grow up with, like, all these issues. You know what I'm saying? So I think like it's really, really important how you treat your kid and what you teach your kid because they learn it from you.
Yeah, because then the way you express emotions, how they come to express theirs, because that's the only way they saw you being communicated. Yeah. And I noticed that like sometimes like damn, I'm acting like my stepfather right now. Yeah. You know, like you can feel when you act like your parents. It's like yo, I'm really acting like them because that's how it is though as a child. You can really start to embody some of the characteristics you see other people expressing. So yeah, it's important. But even if you don't want to,
like even if you don't want to, you still like kind of like subconsciously we pick up on the habits of the people that's around us. So if I'm around my parents 24/7 because I live with them, I'm picking up on their habits. Like I made a video one time. I was like, yo, parents, like stop telling your kid or stop telling anybody to clean up if you're not clean up after yourself. Like I'm following what you do. Like you have to lead by example. You can't tell me to read a book, do this if you're not doing it, because at the end of the day I'm following your footsteps. And I think that we still young, but like honestly speaking, we're knowledgeable and we're in that phase where we're becoming young adults, right? And as a young adult, we can reflect on certain things and be like, nah, like this could have been done differently. Right. And even now I have younger siblings. You got any younger siblings?
I got an older brother now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I got younger siblings. So sometimes I'm telling my dad like,
nieces and nephews.
I tell him like, like maybe you shouldn't do this because like when I was younger, it didn't really work out the way you thought it would work out.
Yeah, it make me feel good because you've been through it. Now you can see it, and you like. I think about that today. How you used to be screaming, how I seen you communicate with my mom and things like that. So now I remember. That's important.
Yeah. So now let's get into it. So how do you what's your method of motivating the hood now?
I mean, I try to like look at what's going on. When we did like the mass shooting in Texas, right? Like one way I could communicate that to the hood is like understanding that we all have younger brothers, younger siblings, right? And that could have been one of them. So like, and then we think like the encouraging like violence through music. I would say like we shouldn't perpetuate like if that's the lifestyle and it occurs, it gonna occur, but we shouldn't be like trying to educate people, make that or glorify it because we understand the repercussion that come on it. And then we saying like we come to the next generation of adults. If we've been in the streets, we know what the street entails, right? So we also need to educate the people come behind us, understand like that even though while the scamming may come with these cars and money, it also come with not being able to trust friends. You have to look over your shoulder in certain lifestyles. So like the way I try to, or what motivate me, I think it's just looking at what's going on, getting people to never forget where we come from. Because I think when people start obtaining a certain platform, we start to try to belittle others because they ain't got money. I hear a lot of people like, oh bro, your boyfriend broke, whatever, this is that. But we was there before. You know what I mean? Like we've been there. So you know how it feels to be in that position. So why would you try to belittle somebody that just ain't get to your step in life yet? Yeah. So I think that's how I'll be trying to speak to them about is like never forget where we come from. That's what a lot of people like about me because even though I may be in college or we may be in school, we still come back home. And we still talk to people. We don't make it seem like it's that much of a different. Only difference that I had access to a collegiate space. Yeah. But so that's what I try to pull from is getting us to understand that don't never forget where you come from. You've been in that position before, and even though we may not be there right now, we know how it feels to be there. So I ain't gonna never make nobody feel less than me because I know how I feel to not have.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? That's one of my biggest motivations, just always being myself and never forgetting where I come from. Because like I always tell people, like it wasn't always this Aaliyah.
It wasn't right. That's why I asked you that. Was you always this Aaliyah?
No, it wasn't always this Aaliyah. So I can't forget about the people who was with me when I wasn't, this Aaliyah. However, one thing I am learning is that when people light switch go off, that's when they light switch go off. Because I can't force anybody to do things. So sometimes you still love a person, but you gotta do things for them from a distance. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta go get successful and then get them. Because some people can't go on a ride with you up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta you gotta go first. Right? Yeah, because their mindset not there yet. But like even yesterday, I'm walking. So I work downtown. So when I go to work, by J Street, it's crazy over there. It's crazy over there. Right? So they were selling weed, and I work like a lot. Right. So it's this man I see every single day, like every single day. And if you watch this, I'm talking about you, right? Right. So I see him every single day, and every day he asks me if I want some weed.
Every day, every like day. Your gonna change.
And I'm like, yo. So I saw him. I was like, yo, bro. Right. I was like, how much money you made yesterday? Like, I straight up asked him. I was like, how much money you made yesterday? He said $1,700. And I said, okay, what do you do with your money? He said, I'm just stacking up. And I was like, okay, but you in a rat race right now. I was like, because you stacking up, but what you stacking up for?
Right.
Like, you still here.
You just
you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw you last year. I saw you the year before that. Like, you still here. It doesn't seem like there's any elevation or any growth. Like what are you doing for this block, for this corner? Like what's going on? And he was like, yeah, you know, I was looking into trucking, you know, real estate. Like, it seemed like he's a knowledgeable person, right? He knows there's other things that he can be doing, but his mindset isn't there yet. He hasn't had exposure. So I said, yo, follow me, right? So now I'm gonna hit him up, and in a couple of weeks, right? I'm gonna give him some time, like hit him up, right? In a couple of weeks, and just walk him through a process, because I think a lot of times, like, exposure, like, people don't be having that exposure
in general. Yeah, and even on that note, it is important for exposure and just to learn there's different ways of doing it. So, like, even your page, you being willing to assist, you know what I mean? Have that conversation. Like, yo, bro, what you been doing? Yeah. And then I was going to say, never feel afraid to leave home. Because we leave home and we had come back and we think like we missing something. But you're not missing it. You come back home, people in the same corner with the same outfit. Talking about the same conversation. Like, yo, bro, you still talk about how many girls you like. Yeah. You still talk about that. I forgot. You know what I mean? I had that conversation a long time. Yeah. And you come back and it's the same thing. So, like, and then not being afraid to also not meet the expectation people hold you. Because I asked you the other day, I was like, was you always this Aaliyah? And then did you ever have a challenge, like, reinventing yourself, even though you was around people that kept holding you to the old criteria? Like, yo, Aaliyah, remember we used to throw water balloon at the bus driver or something like that? You like, you still thinking about that, bro? You see I'm on a different page, but you holding me to a criteria of the old me. And never being afraid to just, you know, that's a lot. That's the biggest thing I think is, like, peer pressure, being afraid of other people's opinion of you. Like, you got to go, bro, because we all got a purpose. You know what I mean? Your purpose, for you to do this, you inspiring a lot of people. People can't put a value or a price on inspiration and influence or giving hope. Wow. You know what I mean? Nobody could do that. There's no price on that. They can't say, I helped 3 people get to college. But you can't say, I gave 1,000 people hope, because you can't measure that. You can't measure who you giving hope to. You know what I mean? So
that's a lot.
Yeah. So but that's what it is. Like, I was telling you, because I was looking, I was like, was she always this Aaliyah? You know what I mean? But being able to not be afraid to do what you got to do, bro. No matter what other people thinking of you, because you got to get to, you got to go. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Like, sometimes I ask myself, because I'm not, like, I struggle daily sometimes thinking, like, dang, like, people who I used to be cool with, they probably like, what the heck now? Right. But, you know, like, the crazy thing is, I ask myself, like, how much would it cost me to go back to old ways? Or how much would it have cost me if I didn't change my mindset? Like, like, we have to start seeing things that way. Like there's something called opportunity cost, right? So with opportunity cost, that's when, like, one thing, if by not doing one thing, it costs you for doing that other thing, right? So it's just like, if I decide to go to the movies instead of doing my homework, it may cost me that bad grade that I would have got. Right? So how much does that decision cost you? Because a lot of times, like, the decisions we make is costing us, but we're not putting the value of those decisions. So don't be afraid to change who you currently are, because the whole thing about life is to grow. It's not just the age; it's to actually grow. Like, you don't get a plant and expect for it to just stay the same, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Jay, he said something like, "People say you change, like, ideal is to stay the same." Yeah, like, no, your intentions. You shouldn't like who you are as a person, and your morals maybe don't change, but how you navigate spaces, how you think, articulate yourself. That changes. There ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as you change it for the better, that's it. Like. And you know what's crazy? Jay also said this too. He was like, I ain't changed. Y'all just changed. Like, y'all just changed how y'all operated around me. Right? Like, I just elevated. I changed my mindset, my thought process. But y'all the ones moving funny. Right? The expectation y'all asked me something y'all never asked me for. Yeah. So I ain't never changed. Yeah. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And I think, like, you know, a lot of people scared to elevate because, you know, with elevation comes a lot of things that we don't know. And we see more people sinking than growing. Yeah. And it's because we see people sinking, that's become our comfortable space. Right. And because we're comfortable, it's just like, that's what everybody else doing. Let me go do that, you know? Yeah, and I said that in a video. I was like, with elevation come like separation. And then the more focus you get, the less tolerant you become a distraction. And that's important, because you just, as you start getting focused, certain things you just don't got time for. Yeah. Like, I don't find it fun no more going to a club or something. It's just not. Yeah. You know, it's not helping me evolve mentally. I feel like we just doing the same things. It's the same music, making doing the same dances. So you don't be afraid to, like, stop going to part of certain spaces. It's good. If you got to get to, you got to go for it. Yeah, and you know the crazy thing is too, though. I feel like sometimes, like, when your mindsets change, you don't feel comfortable places. It's not even that I don't want to go. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't enjoy it no more. Yeah, right?
Like, I'm thinking about other things.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be here right now.
I don't.
Like,
so I think doing something more productive.
Like,
and I know people like maturity. This idea of maturity is a choice, but I think like sometimes maturity is based on just like circumstance. Like you can't just you doing this. It's like certain things that you are now held and expected to do, and you expected yourself.
Yeah.
And now circumstances made you mature. You ain't really choose that. It's just now you 21, you 20. You can't be acting 16 because now other people looking at you like you the older sister. You know what I mean? And now it just maturity came out of like certain circumstances.
Yeah. It's crazy because my dad told me, he was like, I'm trying to get the right words. He said some people rather a familiar hell than an unfamiliar heaven. Right, so like people rather stay in a bad situation because that's all they know. Right, so if I always saw that I always had bad financial habits, or I always like seeing my parents arguing, or all I know is poverty, I'd rather be comfortable in that than take the risk than to seeing better days, than to seeing wealth, than to seeing things, because now that like I'm not comfortable with it. I've never seen it. I've never been exposed to that. So that's why exposure is super. That's a bar there too.
Because even some people, that's applicable to more than just like those circumstances. It'd be like relationships. People will keep going back to the same partner because they just don't want to be diving into the unknown. You know, and they want to stay comfortable, even though a comfortable hell rather than the unknown heaven or uncomfortable heaven. That's crazy. But that's really how it is.
Yeah. So let's tap into it. So we like to get spicy on here, right? So we're gonna tap into it. So what's the girls like? You know, what's like? Let me tell you something. Like, and you can tell me if this is true or false. I feel like girls are now. You have a mixture of girls. It depends on the type of girl that you want. Well, I'm gonna say woman you want, right? Women are kind of, in my eyes, I feel like they more attractive now to the people who not the ones like doing a shooting, not the ones going to jail, not the ones scamming. They like the scammers. I'm not gonna lie. They like the scammers. Don't keep going. But they starting to have a mindset where like, yo, I don't want to be in no incident where we going out to eat and somebody's shooting at your car. Like, so would you say that like girls are more attracted to like a man who has a better mindset now, or like what do you think?
Yeah, that's funny. Now, I think women are a beautiful creation, right? And there's different types of women. When I say, I think it depends. I feel like women still, at least the ones I'm around so far, and I'm starting to change the environment women I'm around, but they are still attracted to people that show the symbols of wealth. You know what I mean? Like I still can see that more often. Like they like to see people that maybe driving the Lambo, renting the cars in Miami, rather than the people that's not showing it but might have it, but they don't know that because people don't show it. You know, the ones that really got it ain't gonna show it the same way people that don't really have it. Because somebody said like that's like masking just like insecurities. Because like Jay-Z, Drake and them don't have to wear 1,000 chains.
Yeah, they said that the wealthier they got, the less they.
Yeah, they don't have to do that no more. But the people that ain't really got it, got to show that they have it because it's like a uniform in the industry. But like I think that but it is some women. I felt like for me, I mean, I always get the girls that also like the skims as well because I was raised around it. But they do like the you know, they gotta. I would say they may like the people that's on our page and moving in our direction more, but they gonna be. They're gonna go. They're gonna go in a relationship with the scammers and stuff, even though they really may like you, but you just not fitting the image of like social media.
You know, but I also think they friends play a big part in that too. Because I think girls always want a man or whatever that they want to go back to their friends and brag about. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like bragging about us would be like you could brag, but it's just like to the right friends. It's like.
She got the best podcast on YouTube. You know what I mean? My man bought me a Chanel bag, a Birkin. It's different, and it depends on the type of woman. So, like for me, I'm trying to learn how to only approach women that I've seen their character first, because like you could. It's a lot of beautiful women in the world. You know what I mean? And you can't stop every girl, and every girl just because she's beautiful don't mean she's the right one. So it's like, how you gonna differentiate? You gotta find ways to see like their character outside of just the looks. Because you would stop a lot of girls just on looks. Your significant other in general, you would stop if it's just based on looks. There's a lot of good looking people. But you got to find ways to like, at least for us, because we building something. You know, so I need somebody to have the same vision and ideal that it's bigger than yourself. So I can't just get you because you're looking good, even though it's still tempting, but I need you to be invested.
All right, so do you feel like we got to have like some type of discipline with girls? Like how?
Yo, nah, you do need, I promise you, like, you said spicy, so we call it discipline. You know, like learning how to control the use of it. Because what I was saying is like you can ruin a lot of relationships through sex. Bro. I never knew that. Like sex become more than that when you get older. You know what I mean? It's more than just a exchange. It's like spiritual and things like that. And you can mess up a lot of good, genuine friendships. And I think, if I'm honest, I messed up a lot of friendships having sex with a woman. I think we could have, if we just would have stayed friends. So like now my discipline's like, not saying if I value, but I'll say like if I value more as a friend than an intimate partner, I'm gonna just keep you as a friend. Not saying I don't value you as my partner, but you gotta find like which one would you prefer, you know? Because you can ruin a lot of relationships through sex. And then I was saying discipline, not just always initiating because a girl look good, like finding ways on even going to different places. Like I can't think we're gonna find a girl like us necessarily at certain spaces. I'll be like clubs and stuff because I don't be at clubs, so why would she be? You know what I mean? So I need to go to some poetry slam. I don't know, a speakeasy or some drink that I'll find her. How was it for you? You gotta find them type of discipline.
I feel like definitely discipline is a big thing. Definitely a big discipline because like I don't know, if a girl look good, she look good. It definitely gotta give discipline, but also think too like off the bat, you know when a girl is the type that's like, alright, she legit, or it's just like nah, like that's not nobody to be with. Because I'm a person who do a lot, right? And when you do a lot, and I have a business and I have real big goals, and you know like. You need somebody who believes in the vision. And a lot of these girls, like, they can't or contribute to the vision. Not just believe in it, but can contribute to it. And a lot of times, you meet people who they look good, but they don't have that other side of them. You know what I'm saying? And due to reasons, right? And at that point, that's when I'm like, all right, we could just be friends, and I could help you build. You know what I'm saying? Versus like,
like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think like being that we building stuff too. Sometimes I be needing my certain space to like think and just get my thoughts. You know what I mean? I can't always have company at nighttime, things like that. Because I be really needing to like dive in my thoughts. And I usually think more efficiently at night. So I can't really be having people. So I need somebody that's okay with that. I can just call you at a certain time.
Bro. I can't have we speak the same language, bro.
I can't have it every time,
bro. You know the crazy thing is, bro. Number one complaint I get is like, I don't know how to balance my time. and my thing is like, when you building something, I generally feel this way. Like I have this argument with my dad all the time. Like you can't not. There's no such thing as balancing when you're building, because balance means that if we have two ways, that means that like I'm doing like I'm balanced. But if I'm working on one thing, so I'm giving up something else. There's no balance.
You cannot always go to sleep at 11 or 1. Some days you're going to be up until like 4 or 5 in class at 8. And you just got to make it happen. There's no way to have a full balance when you really are trying to build something. Because your thoughts come and you just got to do it.
You got to do it in that moment.
If I did for me to create a video when I be doing motivational speaking, if it come to me at 2 in the morning, I got to make it at 2 in the morning. I can say, no, Jill, wait until the morning, take it. I can't do. I hate when people call me, ask me, why don't you seem like you don't find time for yourself. How's your mental health?
Like this is my mental health. This is my mental health. Like mentally, I won't be okay if I'm not doing it.
That's what's therapeutic. It's not like we understand the importance of mental health, having that dialogue conversation around it. It's a serious matter. But some things we find therapeutic matters. You like going to clubs. I like to sit and probably talk to myself. I talk to myself. People like, you talk to yourself. Yes, you gotta have a meeting with yourself sometimes. You going through ideas in your head. They like. And even sometimes when I'm out in different spaces, they could catch me like quiet, like, yo, Jay, are you good? And it's just like thoughts in my head. I'm saying, thinking about it, like, I'll be saying, really thinking like, if I'm at the BET Awards, what speech would I say? Or it'd be at random places. Or who would I interview? Like, I be writing a script in my head, and we in a club, and I'm saying, thinking, like, what would I ask Angela Rah if I had to? That's just what it is, though.
And people mindset be so focused on something completely different. and my thing is like, I don't blame them, but just for me right now, like they be like, yo, Aaliyah, what? Like just go. I'm like, nah, not today. Like that's not what my mind is. Or even if so, my friends drink, right? So I don't really drink like that. That's not really my thing. So I'm usually the driver. So I'm like, yo, I could drop y'all. I wait outside. Like I'm cool. I bring my laptop. I bring my laptop and one of my friends is like, "Yo, this is like a laptop with data." So, so now we call my computer with the data, and I sit outside, wait for them doing my work. Like I'm cool with that.
That's what, like, you know what I mean. And I also gonna say, like, don't allow people to like belittle what you define to be fun.
Exactly.
Because everybody fun different.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you watch Earn I watch Earn Leisure too.
Yeah.
And they have Market Monday. So sometimes on a Monday, I may not want to go, but I want to watch the podcast.
That's fun to me.
Yo, J.O., how you? Oh, you always reading and watching podcast. That's my fun, bro. If I'd rather go watch somebody giving a webinar, seminar, and sit there and learn, rather than, you know, going to the party on campus. I probably don't really want to do that right now. Yeah. So ain't nothing wrong. Yeah,
and I tell people all the time, like, if we just on two different paths and it's okay.
Right.
So don't try to make my path your path or your path my path. Right. Like we just different. Our heads are different, and it's
and
okay.
then the other discipline with women, I was thinking is like, just probably having the patience. I be praying a little more often. And like, cause like they say, if something is meant for you, you're not gonna miss it. And if the opportunity misses you, it means it wasn't ever meant for you. Mm-hmm. So like, maybe the right one's gonna come with time. You know what I mean? But you gotta have that patience. Cause we're not gonna say like the women don't exist for us. They do. But it's just with time or being in the right spaces is gonna happen. But we can't force it because it.
So let me ask you this: how you feel about dates? Right. So I'm big on financial literacy. I'm quick to tell somebody, bro, if you're looking. Like I really pay attention to what people post on social media.
Right,
when people post on social media, that kind of means like, all right, this is what they expected. So if you posting them memes, you reposting Justin McGuire talking about like, oh, like this. I'm like, if you're looking for that here, that's not happening with Financial Revolution.
You got a different financial agenda over here. Yeah. But what's the question with dates?
So how you feel about dates, like, and paying, like, like you building, right? And when you building, your money gotta be allocated towards like different places. So how much are you spending on your girl? How do you feel about that? Like,
so I mean, if I see a girl and I initiate with like, yo, excuse me, I can't take out to eat, I'm gonna pay for it the first day.
Oh, so you be pulling up on them?
Yeah, I'll pay for the first day. I'll pay for the first day. But I think if you're in a relationship, I started saying like, you have the idea, then you should cover it. You know, like if I'm chilling in the crib, I'm watching my boys, like, babe, I want to go out to eat. Okay, let's go. That's just know you paying though. You know what I mean? Because that's your thoughts. Yeah. If I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna cover it. If you want to go out every time, that's why it's also important to find people that also view money the way you do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people moving in a faster pace, but don't really be having it. I be wondering like, how you spending that much money every day? Yeah. Like sometimes it's good to cook, and I try to word different. Like, why we don't cook? It's like a bonding experience. You know what I mean? You want to go out to eat every day, bro. I got other things to do on money. Also, be investing. I do like the reoccurring investments. You know what I mean? So like, I'm getting money pulled out each time. I can't. I'm trying to, I got Apple Music, Netflix. I'm trying to see, bro. And then you, now you become. And then you, don't know for real. I don't like expenses. I don't. Yeah. You know
like you money coming out of my pocket. Bro.
Yeah. You get me a little frustrated. Yeah. Like everything now, I gotta think of you as an expense. Like when I get paid or I get money, I gotta say, but I also have a partner that wants this every time. No, bro. Sometimes I want to chill, cook, and relax, bro. Nobody want to go every time. So if I initiate, I'll do it. But then I would love someone else to also pay too. Yeah. So if you never pay, I'm a fill away because even if you don't have offer, maybe I may not let you pay, but you never offer like, nah, I got it. Yeah. Nah, I don't like that.
And I also think like when you respecting the vision and respecting that we're building. Because if you respect that, you'll understand when we say like, yo, like not right now, or like I'm building, or my money gotta go here this month or whatever. Because you got a lot of girls where it's just like if you don't do that, if you're not treating that, they it's clip. And honestly, bro, to hell with you.
To hell with you, like hey.
To hell with you. Like
you don't assess my love on the amount of money I spend on you, because that is not. And that goes back to like childhood and how you was raised. Because if your parents only express love to you through buying you stuff, then that's what you think. That's how you associate your love language, like the gifts. I wasn't raised just through exchange of gifts as love. Bro. My mom actually rubbed my head, gave me massage, made me feel love, nurtured, touch. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't think buying me gifts is a good way of showing me love. Because I don't really, you can buy me all that stuff. It's like somebody buy me a car. I thought about it. Like somebody buy you a car, that's really an expense. Yeah. You have to pay the note every month. Yeah. So that's not a gift. Yeah. You owe me an expense. You know what I mean? So like for me, I don't
buy the car, pay the insurance. Right. I'm paying for that.
You even pay it off. You just bought me a car to my gift. That's not a gift. So I don't really see gifts as a form of like a love language for me. I like touch. I like talking, good conversation. Somebody you have a good conversation with, go a long way. I would never understand. I mean, having a good conversation with her, I'm like, I probably like her. You know what I mean? That was a good conversation. You know what I mean? That's better than you just looking good.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't hold conversation unless it's on social media or texting. I can't even text.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think with women nowadays, it's just like, how are you different?
How?
Yeah, like how do you different? Because I think a lot of times, like, you just come across people like, hey, you look good.
Right.
Like you said, it's a lot of people who look good. So if we go based off of that, like, it's a lot of options here. So like,
there's a lot of options here.
Like, how are you different, right? Because a lot of times, like, girls just don't have nothing to contribute. Like, just that they look good, and in the passenger seat, they make videos.
It's not enough. Right. Yeah, it's not enough to just look at. Even men, some men only have money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and then what do you have outside of that? You know what I mean? So I don't.
And then how you help me become a better person? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a big thing too. Like, you know, I feel like we're very wise beyond our years. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to women, sometimes it's just like, what qualities that I lack do you have that's helping me become a better person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually like older women too. Mm-hmm. Now you think about that, because I don't know, there's something about it. And I do need a girl that has some entrepreneurship endeavors. You know what I mean? I remember one of the girls that I had a pop-up shop in school when I sold out, but that was her idea. She was like, yo, why don't you just go pop-up shop in front of the crib on campus? And I just did it, and the joint worked. You know what I mean? But somebody that got some, I need a hustler with me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Somebody who see it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who, like, when you down, they like, nah, like this how this about to, like, boom, boom, boom.
Like, I need that, because I'm going to do that for you. So
that's a fact.
Be reciprocated.
Yeah, that's a fact. Nah, it's crazy. But so, do you see yourself do you see yourself getting married first?
I want to get married. I don't see myself getting married. I don't know when that's going to come. Even our generation delayed marriage to an extent. I like seeing people get married. It's a beautiful thing. But I don't know. What I've seen with women, bro, I don't think.
So would you have kids without marrying a woman?
Yeah, definitely. You have to have my kid before we get married.
Wait, wow.
I don't know why I'm saying this, because people are going to judge me. But look, I feel like we need to go through everything before we marry. And I think that having children in the States, because at least from my experiences, I've seen a lot of people have children and the relationship stop after the children. I don't know what occurred, but something.
The finances, the
something changes. But I think that we go through everything, including a child, and I still love you the same way. I'm like, nah, we've been through everything.
Yeah,
that's
a good way to put it.
That's how it is for me. But a lot of people are like, what? That's crazy. So you rather have 15 children, more divorces than children? Like, but then you're not caring about the child. No, I care for the child. I'm gonna be there for the child. But at the same time, bro, that's how I feel. I really feel like I need to have a child with you before you marry.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like if it was up to me, like, I like my parents being separated. Like, it's not like, it's not like some people, like, it breaks them. Like, especially if you grew up seeing your parents together and they get divorced. Right. But like, I was probably like 3. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, I see why they should be. You know what I'm saying? I understand it, right? So sometimes, like, when you look at things from a different lens, and then you get the best of both worlds. So I honestly feel like
different experiences with mommy and dad. You're like, oh man, it's different.
I feel like life, we try to make things so structured when we're all different individual people with all different mindsets and thoughts. Like, you feel like, you gotta go through the test of time with the person. And I can see how that makes sense because, like, I do see that. Like, people get children and then now it's like, all hell break loose.
I don't know what occurs, but they don't be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, also, I don't like people that try to go in relationships with, like, a set criteria. Like, yo, you need to marry me before this or this. I don't think that. Because you could meet somebody and it's just, like, right. You know what I mean? Like, me and you, you could be a great friend. I met you. Say if I met you yesterday. We could be great best friends from somebody I knew for 2-3 years.
Yeah, that's
that just ain't never make me feel the same way you made me feel in 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna never be like, because I might be able to marry her before she had my child. But right now, I ain't gonna lie. I think I need to test the time.
Test the time. Yeah, that's great. It's gonna be funny because it's gonna be posted. It's gonna be on YouTube. So years from now, we go back to it and be like, yo, wow, that's how I thought.
You had the kid before you married. For the kid. No, that's funny.
All right, so as we wrap up, I want to ask you a couple of questions. So, where do you see yourself? Like, what's some goals that you're working on? Because when you come back on the platform and you accomplish these goals, I say that you said it here and you did it.
Yeah, you remember I was talking to you, like, you gotta have like a hunger for it or a desire to eat before you eat the food. And it seems like your dreams, like, you gotta want it and then you gotta obtain it. Yeah. So, like, for me, I just don't be saying all my ideas out loud, but one of the things I know, I'm dropping my clothing brand, I'm gonna do it in Either the beginning of September, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I got some ideas written down. I also want to create my own talk show. So similar to Justin LeBoy, the setup is just similar to that, but not the conversation. When we bring different guests to campus, I'm also in a fraternity, Alpha. So we have a budget through the school. We could bring different guests, and I think like if I bring certain artists to school, I could bring them onto the talk show and have certain conversation and dialogue. So I'm gonna set it up.
Yeah, that's gonna be lit.
I'm gonna set up inside this. We have like a clubhouse in one of the residencies that students live in. It's called Aspen. So I'm gonna set up in it. I think they don't know that, but the university, man. But I'm gonna utilize the space because it's first come first serve. So I'm gonna set it up similar to this, and then I'm gonna have a conversation. So that's the idea. And I want that to be like something that I'm gonna invite students to come to. I'm thinking every like Thursday night.
That's lit.
I have
like
everybody
that.
pull up and they come, and then we have a conversation with different guests. I want to start with like Felicia Jack. She's the woman basketball coach, but she once was a player, but she returned, she's the first woman to get her jersey retired in Syracuse University, and then she became the coach in the institution. I just wanted to talk to her about being a women's basketball coach and teaching them of not just being good women basketball players, but being women on and off the court. Like being more than just an athlete. And that's that dialogue that I want to have. So I'm trying to get it to work, but that's the vision. That's some of the goals into fruition of the brand. That, and then we have an annual Martin Luther King celebration, one of the biggest ones across universities in the state. And I want to spearhead that.
Give a speech. You're gonna do that. You're gonna do that.
You're gonna make that happen.
Don't say wanna. You like.
I'm gonna say that speech for the Martin Luther King celebration.
Facts. All right. So, what would you tell your younger self right now? Like with the information you have right now, what would you be telling your younger self? Or what choices would you be making differently?
I think not being afraid to fail. That's even my biggest fear, even today. But like, I don't know why I always been scared to fail. I think it's really because when people hold you to high expectation, you hold yourself a high expectation. I never want to be in a position where people like, yo, J.O. used to be this, and they be like, he was the man, homie. Yeah, we had that. That song. I never want to be that. I don't want to be the person who's like, yo, J.O. was doing everything in college. Where he at now? I don't want that. So I think like failure was one of our biggest things. So,
but it's not failure though, because you can't be afraid to fail. That's a part of the process. So just say that you afraid to quit.
There you go. That's what I'm afraid to give up.
Yeah, give up.
So that's the thing. So like, I tell my older self, because where I'm at now, I'm not really scared to fail. Anything that I fear failing, I do it because I'm scared. I'm scared.
You gotta take on that adversity.
So now I do it because of that. So when I was younger, I think in basketball, I think I had a big fear of failure. When it came to even playing in certain tournaments, I wouldn't go because I'd be like, what if I don't perform how I usually perform? On a bigger stage, and people gonna look at me like, oh, he ain't really like that. So I think like it was like, don't be scared to fail. And is there anything else? So
you still ball?
Yeah, I still play ball for sure in the circus, but like recreationally. And is there anything else I would say? If you have any ideas, I was saying like try to bring it to fruition. I think I allowed doubt to hinder me from trying to bring certain things into reality because I just doubted it. I was like, yo, that drink might not work, or people might not like this, but the easiest way to test the idea is through the market.
Yeah, to do it. Like if you don't do it, you'll never know.
Right.
You never know. All right, so what's your favorite money rap lyric about money? Because we revolutionizing financial literacy. We revolutionizing entrepreneurship, and like we hear a lot of music that talk about a lot of stuff, but mainly a lot of music talk about money. So what's that? Who that artist? Who that?
So Jay-Z is one of them, but I'm gonna go with Nipsey Hussle because I can remember his lyrics. Nip said something along the idea like all money in, right? But he was like, nothing like you rap niggas. All the son to my rap, man. And he used to talk about how like he owned his masters and everything. But like I'm nothing like y'all because we all in the same environment, but like the way we gonna move and do it is different. So I even say that like also comparisons to thief of joy. I think I would have told myself at a young age. I think it's more detrimental today with social media because we could compare now. Yeah, we always see every day of people's success, and now it's making it seem like how does Ernie Leisure got to 1 million followers and I'm still on 200, right? You know what I mean? So like comparison thief of joy, and if I could tell myself stop comparing, just being comfortable with your progression. But I was saying like you got to believe that other people are doing things, but they can't do it like you. Like you know what I mean? Like Ernie Leisure has a podcast and things like that, which I applaud them. I applaud every time it's no way. But they just can't do it like us. You know what I mean? It's not an arrogant thing, but it's confident because we won a none. You know what I mean? And
that's what anybody. That's what anybody. You know what's crazy? I kind of tell myself that too because I think I had my mind like at one point I was like, "Dad, like they're already doing it. Right? Like, is this something I should really do?" But then I told myself, "But like I'm Aaliyah. They're Aaliyah. Like they and they giving me the blueprint. And that's what I respect about them. Right. So I like the purpose of them building their business is to create people like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Create people like you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why wouldn't I do it? And then it's also I'm 19.
Right.
They're a little older. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So it's a
separation. So who's gonna pick up the baton and do the things like we are? Right. We're the next presidents of the United States. We're the next lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, people solving problems. So like we will be damned if we compare ourselves to the people who are giving us the blueprint. That's
how you gotta do it. I remember 50 Cent said something I thought was a ball. He said, sometimes you gotta believe in it so much that people can confuse your confidence with arrogance, because at the same time as we build it, we try to convince ourselves that it's possible.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And then you go woo yourself into certain space. And a lot of people don't know what we gotta get over mentally and in ourselves to convince ourselves that we can do it. So that was like a bar that he said, and that's what it is. So when I say like Barack Obama, I critique him. I like he gave us hope that it's possible. Mm-hmm. But I didn't feel like Barack Obama was the best form of expression for like the Negroes from where I come from. You know what I mean? Like the way we gonna speak and address certain issues, he didn't say it in a certain manner I thought he should have.
But so I got a question for that though. Do you think he was able to? Because here's one thing I'm learning, right? When you get into this whole political thing, and when you like even with just money, like a lot of stuff is politics, right? So it's just like, for example, like Donald Trump, right? They just passed the Roe versus Wade. Donald Trump been trying to do that for a long time, but it got passed now because he had people in the seats after he left to still be able to get that passed. So like Obama was on one wavelength, but the people who were the legislators,
Congress,
in Congress, they weren't going to pass those. So, what do you think?
I just never waver in my character. Like Wall Street Trapper, the way he convey his message is a certain way through trap language, right? And he's speaking to a certain demographic. I think Raw Wave said like, if you don't like it, then it's just not for you. Like for me, I'm gonna communicate in a way that I feel is going to communicate to the people that's going to resonate with my words, you know. And I don't know how, like Trayvon Martin passed away, right, when he got killed. Barack Obama gave a speech that day, right? Mm-hmm. And he said the speech.
He was young at that time.
But he gave a speech that day. He went back into the office. Michelle Obama critiqued it and told him he needed to go back there and say something that was different. And that's when he came out and said the speech that became known, when he was like, Trayvon Martin is me. Like, if I look at Trayvon, he's a black man, that's who I am. Like, if Trayvon Martin was a reflection of who I was at his age. But that wasn't his initial speech. But that should have been his initial speech. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain things that you just gotta say. It's you can try to be political and meet certain criteria, politically correct, but at the same time, bro, you gotta have a stance. Malcolm X bro, he had politics, but he had a stance.
And he was strong on it.
It's like you gonna either love me for who I am. I'd rather you hate me for who I am than love me for who I'm not. And that's just what it is. So I think
that's I'm
gonna do that.
And I respect that. I respect that because a lot of people, you know, they change up, they switch up for a couple of dollars, or they let, you know, barriers, put limitations on them. I remember I was like 16, 17. I told my dad, don't put no limitation on my life.
That's a whole nother podcast right there.
Like, just don't put no limitation. You get what I'm saying? So I respect that. But definitely appreciate you for coming on the platform. You know, this was a great conversation. I know this going to go crazy.
Thank you for bringing me up here. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm going to share it, make sure to bring everybody to it.
Yeah, where can people find you, though?
So, Michael Pierre, Michael, MICHAEL .Pierre, PIERRE, and there's 2 underscores on Instagram that also have Off the Wake Up podcast. That's also on Instagram. And you can catch me up there. I usually starting to learn how to record certain things. Another thing about social media, I think people are recording things that we was doing, but we just never thought we were supposed to record and show. If I'm giving back, I never recorded me being a part of community service. But now you see everybody just trying to show that they involved. But like I've been doing it, I just never recorded it. So now I'm trying to work on.
It's the purpose behind it.
Social media now, purpose. But I never really thought I don't really have to show everything. But working that. So I usually try to let social media be a reflection of the things I'm doing. So you can catch me on those 2 platforms.
Yeah. So let's get it, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the Young and Dumb podcast. Let's get it, y'all.